Good morning, everyone. My name is Ruksha Mitra, and I welcome you all to Saji Samaj, the discussion series of Tech Mahindra Foundation on matters related to teachers and education. Thank you so much for joining us on this very important conversation on an issue that is extremely important and relevant for promoting child health. It is now well understood that eye health in children is fundamental to their lifelong well-being and performance. Early action during childhood can help to avoid some serious risks. It is said that as much as 80% of information that we receive is processed in our minds through visual means. So there are several questions related to the challenges that can be addressed in our schools where students spend the great part of their time and are directly supervised by their teachers. This therefore raises the questions about the role that teachers can play in early detection of any eye-related problem and in understanding the early warning signs to advise and alert about medical intervention. They can also help students to adopt healthy posture, lifestyle, and an appropriate diet. Therefore, on the occasion of World Sight Day on the October 14th, we seek to explore dimensions of this public health challenge and understand how the knowledge of eye health among teachers can be used to help prevent risks. As you know, the theme for this year, as conceptualized by the International Agency for the Prevention of Blindness, is Love Your Eyes. So today's conversation is therefore designed to understand how can school-level interventions be institutionalized and capacities can be created to prevent serious injuries and lifelong disabilities. These are the questions that we will debate to find answers to in this exciting panel discussion. Before we start, I would like to inform the audience regarding some ground rules that we would like to follow throughout today's session. Requesting all audience members, please keep your microphones on mute to avoid any external disturbances. If you do wish to contribute to the ongoing discussions, you may direct your questions to the Zoom chat box to any of our co-hosts or the host. We also request all attendees to keep your videos disabled during the duration of the meeting. We would also like to share a small tip with you that can help in your viewing experience. To hide the participants who are not using their videos, you can follow the steps that you can see on your screen. You can take your mouse or hover over the participant's video and you will find 3 dots. You will find a pop-up menu once you click and an option called Hide Non-Video Participants. This will also help you to see the videos of all the panelists and the speakers in your attendee panel. We're also streaming this discussion live on our Facebook page of Tech Mahindra Foundation. If you're watching the live stream, you can post your questions using the comment panel over there. We're ready to start. And for those who have just joined us, this is Ruksha Mitra from Tech Mahindra Foundation, extending a warm welcome to all of you once again. I would now like to invite my colleague Swapna Shetty to make a brief presentation on Tech Mahindra Foundation.
Thank you so much, Ruksha. Good afternoon to all. Tech Mahindra Foundation is a CSR arm of Tech Mahindra Limited, a part of the diversified Mahindra Group. Established in 2007, the foundation works with the vision of empowerment through education in the areas of employability, education, and disability. Disability and women empowerment are cross-cutting themes for us, and the foundation mandates that at least 10% of our beneficiaries will be persons with disabilities and over 50% women. TMF operates with a fine mix of partner implemented projects where we work with a number of NGO partners across 11 locations. Not only that, we have a significant direct implementation portfolio. Coming to our programs, within employability, SMART is our flagship program. Launched in 2012, it is implemented through NGO partners with a strong presence in the community. Today, we have 87 centers across the country. These centers are engaged in skilling through structured training and help them get dignified jobs thereafter in the formal sector. SMART has evolved itself as one of the largest urban skilling programs in India. Under this program, there are SMART centers training youth for the service industry, SMART T that offer technical courses, and SMART Plus, which are for persons with disability. Following the success of SMART centers, the foundation launched the SMART Academies, which are directly implemented projects. The academies offer advanced, diploma, and long-term courses in sector-specific training in healthcare, digital technologies, and logistics. Presently, we have 4 healthcare academies at Delhi, Mohali, Mumbai, which is an all-women academy, and the last one in Pune. We are proud to say that our alumni from these healthcare academies and centers have been serving the nation as COVID warriors in these times of distress. The third academy is for digital technologies, skill youth for the technologically advanced world. They are based out of Vizag, Hyderabad, and Mohali, and on one of our academy for logistics in Vizag. Post-COVID, all our smart centers and academies have now adopted the blended learning approach to continue learning. Moving to the education programs, we have ARISE, where we work with municipal corporations and partner organizations to develop primary schools into model schools of excellence. We also have ARISE Plus, which is a special program for children with disabilities. We are presently working with approximately 40 schools across the country. Our second major education program is Shikshantar, committed to creating happier and safer classrooms by capacity building of teachers, school inspectors, and other stakeholders. In Delhi, we have the In-Service Teacher Education Institutes. ITEI, EDMC was set up in 2013 in collaboration with the East Delhi Municipal Corporation. Our second ITEI came in existence in 2018 in collaboration with North Delhi Municipal Corporation. Both these institutes design and deliver training in close coordination with the education department. Over the years, these institutes are evolving into hub of research work within the educational vertical. Post the pandemic, there have been a number of significant interventions to raise awareness about child safety, mental health, digital literacy, and cybersecurity. Mobile Science Lab is another initiative in the area of education in association with EDMC. It is a bus that visits the EDMC school as a traveling laboratory for EDS. Moving to the numbers. Over the years, the foundation has touched and impacted beneficiaries across all these programs, and the figures are visible on your screen. Apart from the program numbers, TechM associates contribute their time for volunteering work as their payback to society. Besides these programs, Rise for Good is a way of life for us. Inspired by this philosophy of our group, the foundation within 2 weeks of the lockdown in March 2020 came up with our COVID relief and rehabilitation program to support the society in emergency, relief, and help India rise against COVID. That's it from my side for now. Thank you. Over to you, Rupsha.
Thanks a lot, Swapna. Now to set in motion the proceedings for today, we have an extremely distinguished guest with us, Dr. Umang Mathur. May I now invite the Chief Operating Officer of Tech Mahindra Foundation, Mr. Chetan Kapoor, to share a few words and to formally welcome Dr. Mathur to this discussion.
Thank you very much, Rupsha. Absolute pleasure to be here once again. So it gives me great pleasure on the occasion of Saji Samaj, the 5th in the Development Dialogue series organized by Tech Mahindra Foundation. Through this initiative, we collectively engage on matters related to education and health and delve deep to identify a roadmap to make our related efforts more socially relevant. The previous Saji Samaj, held just a month back, dwelt on the very important theme of first aid in schools and the role of teachers for the same. Continuing with our focus on child health and safety, and in keeping with our overall theme of creating happier and safer classrooms, the theme of this edition of Saji Samaj is evolving role of teachers in eye health at schools. It is our understanding that several dimensions of children's health that should be addressed during their formative years are not very well understood and often neglected. Eye health is one of them. When we initiated our research on this issue, we found out from the World Health Organization that globally, 19 million children are vision impaired or are blind. The Global Burden of Disease study has observed that South Asia has the maximum number of individuals who are blind, and India alone has 1/5 of the global percentage of individuals with some form of an eye-related problem. This is a matter of serious concern in view of the fact that maximum eye-related problems, including blindness, are preventable and curable if early detection and care are available. The common eye problems in school-going children are usually identified in the form of conjunctivitis, trachoma, congenital cataract, and vitamin A deficiencies, which may lead to permanent vision impairment if timely detection and early access to eye health services are not possible. This may also cause lifelong disability. To prevent delays in detection and enable timely interventions, teachers can play a critical role in capturing early signs of onset of a problem. From this perspective, we plan to discuss this issue on the occasion of the World Sight Day to draw policy and public attention to this important public health challenge. We want to share, based on the findings of our new research report, that a lot of this risk is avoidable if eye health interventions are properly planned in schools. Tech Mahindra Foundation has made special efforts to understand, through this research, the preparedness of schools in responding appropriately to the needs of eye health care and in maintaining eye health amongst children. Teachers who spend the maximum time with students are the best observers, and they can be skilled to identify early warning signs and symptoms in children. They can also generate knowledge and awareness regarding eye health among their students. We hope that the findings of our new study can help to chart the roadmap to strengthen school eye health interventions and programs and improve knowledge and practices of eye health care among children. In this context, we have an excellent panel of experts with us today who are deeply involved with this issue and can throw light on the challenges and the roadmap. Let me introduce you to our distinguished speakers, starting with Dr. Umang Mathur. I am delighted to introduce Dr. Mathur, who is the Executive Director at Dr. Shroff's Charity Eye Hospital, New Delhi, India. Following his residency in ophthalmology, Dr. Mathur did his fellowship in cornea and anterior segment from the LV Prasad Eye Institute, Hyderabad. He has been involved in developing and implementing quality and sustainable eye care systems at this institution. He also has deep interest in community ophthalmology and developing human resource for eye care. He founded the Eye Bank at Dr. Shroff's Charity Eye Hospital, the leading eye banks in North India. Dr. Mathur has several publications in peer-reviewed journals and participates actively in national and international conferences. I take the honor to e-launch our new report, Teachers' Perspectives, Awareness and Understanding of Students' Eye Health, along with our special guest, Dr. Umang Mathur. I certainly hope that this report will be read and disseminated widely. Welcome, Dr. Mathur, and please join me in launching the report.
Congratulations! A very important report. I think everybody needs to be very aware of the issues of childhood blindness, and like you just mentioned, I think early detection takes care of a lot of these issues. And it's more so relevant today when children are not going to schools regularly. And so reaching out to children and they often get neglected. I think I would congratulate Tech Mahindra Foundation for taking this initiative. Excellent work.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Mathur. Pleasure to have you with us.
Yeah.
Rupsha, over to you for the...
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chetan. We can release our e-report on the research that we have worked on. So thank you so much, Dr. Mathur, Chetan. We deeply appreciate your guidance and support. And wonderful to have such an eminent panelist with whom we can share this moment of launching our report, which is titled Teachers' Perspective, Awareness and Understanding of Students' Eye Health. So before we get into the rest of the program, I would like to set a context for the panel discussion thereafter by discussing the brief background and the objective that our research has. So the research is an effort to understand how teachers can become catalysts in building awareness and knowledge around eye health issues help in early detection and early warning, and enable schools to strengthen their eye healthcare systems. The elementary stage of education that represents the formative years of a student's life between 0 to 12 become the most crucial for vision development. As already mentioned, data from WHO has already identified that common eye problems in school-going children include conjunctivitis, trachoma, congenital cataract, and vitamin A deficiencies. These conditions can lead to permanent vision loss if timely detection and early access to eye healthcare services is not assured. South Asia already reports the maximum number of individuals with blindness, which is about 11.7 million individuals. And India becomes 1/5 of this global share of people who have some form of eye-related challenge. But maximum eye-related issues, including blindness, is preventable and curable if we ensure early detection and care. We also have data from Sightsavers that shows that almost half of the world's population suffering from micronutrient deficiencies are in India. Some of that early data set from 2007 shows that worldwide we have 20 to 40 million children with mild vitamin A deficiency, and half of them reside in India. Vitamin A deficiency can cause blindness among 60,000 Indian children each year. There are also 7,000 to 9,000 cases of childhood cataract in India, because cataract is another area that is prevalent as an eye issue amongst children. And this data comes from LV Prasad Eye Hospital. Cataract as a treatment for adults is effective for visual rehabilitation at any age. But childhood cataract, that must be treated as early as possible with long-term management. However, according to public health researchers, late surgery for childhood cataract still remains a major challenge in India. So in addition to the regular health checkups, what else can be done to make schools more proactive to protect the eye health of children? So we feel that teachers who spend the maximum time with students are the best observers. They can be skilled and trained to identify these early warning signs and symptoms in children and take proactive measures. So what can be done to enable teachers in disseminating this knowledge and awareness and help in identifying these early warning signs? So from that standpoint, Tech Mahindra Foundation has carried out an extensive primary analysis and survey of school teachers, and mainly the primary school teachers in government schools, to first understand their current perception, their knowledge and awareness of eye health, and then understand the preparedness and find the gaps to identify the roadmap for further. So the key results from our survey as follows. Majority of teachers have shown basic understanding of the factors that can help in maintaining eye health. For example, from our study, we find that 98% of teachers recognize vitamin A as an important nutrient to maintain eye health. More than 70% of teachers have correctly identified carrots, green leafy vegetables, nuts as healthy food items that can help in maintaining the same. And 68.5% have correctly identified the reading posture to support eye health. It was also important from the perspective of our research to understand what teachers think about conditions like blindness and whether they think these can be prevented or not. So it was quite encouraging to see that majority of, or more than half the respondents believe that blindness can be prevented. As already mentioned by Dr. Mathur, after the COVID-19 pandemic and schools shifting to the online medium of learning, that itself has also had a bearing on the eye health of students. So we find activities that become essential in ensuring that their eye health remains maintained and it doesn't lead to any issues. So from my research, we also wanted to identify how aware are teachers about these activities. So they include, for example, taking small breaks during online activities, which was correctly identified by 75% teachers, avoiding mobile internet surfing 40 minutes prior to bedtime, correctly identified by 67%. However, the findings also showed that less than 1/3 of respondents, that is 30%, are not aware about how to balance these online and offline activities, including what is mentioned in Pragyata guidelines. Pragyata guidelines is a guideline given by the Government of India in support of online education. Teachers were also asked in terms of understanding their perception that what factors according to them can contribute to eye health issues in children, and they were provided with a Likert scale of 1 to 5. According to our findings, teachers ranked too much screen time as the highest probable factor contributing to eye health and genetics as the least probable factor. We further also wanted to understand that how aware are teachers with respect to their students and how many of their students suffer from any sort of eye problem. So the study showed that only half, which is 50%, are aware and observant of eye-related issues currently present in their students. And also in terms of understanding their current knowledge and awareness, the study had identified few common eye health issues that, as established by medical research, are common eye problems in school-going children. According to our findings, greater awareness was found for eye diseases like conjunctivitis, which is about 71% had identified it, and color blindness, with 56% identified. However, we found that there is lesser awareness of issues regarding refractive error, night blindness, trachoma, and cataract. And as you can see on your screens, the awareness was below 50%. This also needs to be understood in the background that 100%, almost all teachers reported that they do not have any history of medical or eye health training. Even though we see there are positive percentages of being aware about conjunctivitis and color blindness, we've still found a knowledge gap in terms of being aware about the symptoms of these said problems. So about 2/5 of respondents, which is approximately 46%, are not aware about the symptoms of conjunctivitis, and over 4/5, that is 80%, are not aware about all the symptoms of color blindness. So based on our surveys and observations, the report has also come up with certain recommendations. The first one being that it will be helpful if we can create guidance and manuals for the teachers and train them to understand these initial signs of eye health problems and help them understand that how these eye issues manifest in classrooms. Secondly, it will be helpful if we can build a knowledge kind of a platform related to eye health among teachers and the community members with respect to science-based health facts versus myths. Because from our survey, it was also understood that the problem is very impressionistic and not driven by science. So this can create a risk of perpetuating myths that can have a counterproductive effect on maintaining eye health. Third, schools can design more planned physical activities and nutrition programs which have a bearing on eye health. Schools can also directly connect with the parents and the home environment to sensitize them about home-based practices, diet that can help in basic protection and preventive action. And fourth, we can have a central database of eye health issues among children. So this can be by the type of problem, age, cause, trend, developmental analysis, mitigation statistics. So what will this help in is in indicating the scale of the problem and the nature of the problem, so that we can have a national response system that can be student-oriented as a health strategy. So to take this conversation forward, I would like to invite Dr. Mathur again for his keynote address.
Thank you so much. Can I pull some slides up if I can share?
Sure, Mr. Mathur, we will stop our presentation and you can share your screen.
So at the outset, thank you very much for inviting me here for this very important discussion. And again, I would like to congratulate you for the report, for the research that you've done on the awareness among teachers on eye health issues for children. I think it probably a unique research of its kind. I don't think there's much available in literature on that. Extremely important insights. Also, I think you chose a very good time for it. The World Sight Day is around the corner. It's celebrated on the second Thursday of October. And so it's falling on Thursday, the 14th. And this year's theme is Love Your Eyes. And all the more relevant to what we are discussing, because बच्चों की आंखें सबसे important है. They have several years of life, and if detected in time, a lot of this is preventable. कुछ साल पहले मैं आगरा के पास हाईवे पर एक बहुत ही सुंदर जगह जहां सूरदास ने अपने पोइट्री लिखी थी, वहां पे एक सूरदास के नाम से एक ब्लाइंड स्कूल है, बेटर टर्मिनोलॉजी, स्कूल फॉर द ब्लाइंड. Probably one of the worst days of my life, I think, क्योंकि वहां पे काफी बच्चे थे, हम उनको एग्जामिन करने गए थे. कुछ कंडीशंस होती हैं जिनमें फ्रॉम चाइल्डहुड, फ्रॉम बर्थ, जेनेटिक डिफेक्ट्स या बर्थ डिफेक्ट्स होते हैं जिसमें हम ज्यादा कुछ कर नहीं पाते. उस दिन जो वो बच्चे हमने देखे, उसमें ऑलमोस्ट 90% बच्चे नॉर्मल पैदा हुए थे. एंड नाउ दे वर वर्चुअली ब्लाइंड, एंड इट वाज वेरी डिसहार्टनिंग. ज्यादातर बच्चे जो ब्लाइंडनेस हुए थे विटामिन ए डेफिशिएंसी की वजह से हुए थे. विटामिन डेफिशिएंसी आजकल की दुनिया में होना क्रिमिनल है, क्योंकि अगर आप शहर की बात करें, अगर दिल्ली में अगर आप आई डॉक्टर से मिलें तो वो कहेंगे अब विटामिन डेफिशिएंसी है कहाँ. बट आप जरा सा बाहर अगर जाएंगे, इंटीरियर्स ऑफ उत्तर प्रदेश, इफ यू गो, यू विल फाइंड दैट अभी भी लॉट ऑफ चिल्ड्रन हैव डेफिशिएंसी, एंड it is still a very important cause of blindness in children. And ये वो बच्चे हैं who have survived. What they say is, if you have blindness in the first 5 years, you have a 60% chance of not surviving. Because vitamin A deficiency ही अगर देखें तो very often it is because measles के साथ diarrhea होता है, diarrhea के साथ malnutrition में vitamin A deficiency, and so you get initially night blindness and then corneal melts occur, xerophthalmia and corneal melts may occur, keratomalacia. This is something which is completely preventable, and if we love our children, we have to love their eyes and we have to take care of it. And so this should not happen, and that's why your research is extremely relevant, because we need to make teachers aware, and we need to make parents aware, and we need to provide services where it is most needed. Now, we know poor vision in children affects performance in school. And for the further growth of the child, vision is extremely important. So if a child doesn't see well, कई बार हम समझते हैं कि वो attentive नहीं है, वो बुद्धू है, उसे समझ नहीं आ रहा. But ये भी हो सकता है कि उसे blackboard दिख ही नहीं रहा. And what they need is a pair of spectacles. Now, vision का जो assessment है, वो बहुत मुश्किल नहीं होता किसी का vision assess करना. And that is where every child by age 5 at least should get an eye examination, and teachers can help in doing that too. So अगर आपको धुंधला दिख रहा होता है, उस बच्चे के लिए तो वही दुनिया है, उसको लगता है यही नॉर्मल है. So बच्चा कई बार कंप्लेन नहीं करता, क्योंकि he has never or she has never seen better than that. So they think that's their world. And so if they are not seeing, maybe nobody else is also seeing that well. So बच्चे को ये प्रॉब्लम नहीं समझ आती, क्योंकि उन्होंने उससे अच्छा देखा ही नहीं है कभी. And that's why it's important that an active intervention is required for somebody to look after those children. Because अगर आप 100 बच्चे देखेंगे तो उसमें there will be rural area में around 3-4% children को चश्मा चाहिए, urban area में और ज़्यादा, and we'll discuss why urban area में ज़्यादा. Now, बच्चों में एक और unique problem है. If for some reason you have reasonably good vision in one eye and you do not have good vision in the other eye, हो सकता है एक आंख में चश्मे का नंबर है और दूसरी आंख में नहीं है. ये अक्सर होता है. बच्चे को अगेन पता नहीं चलता कि वो एक आंख से देख रहा है, उसका काम चल रहा होता है. नाउ इफ द फर्स्ट 5-6 years ऑफ लाइफ में ये चीज पकड़ी नहीं जाती, देन इस आंख में विजन ठीक से डेवलप नहीं होती. यू नीड टू हैव क्लियर ऑप्टिकल zone for vision to develop in the brain. और first 7-8 years of life very important, नहीं तो वो आई लेजी आई हो जाती है. बाद में चश्मे से, ऑपरेशन से विजन इंप्रूव नहीं हो पाती. तो पहले 5-6 साल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होते हैं जिसमें हम असेस करें कि पेशेंट, बच्चे की विजन क्या है. क्योंकि अगर ये एक आंख वीक होती है तो हम गुड आई में एक पैच लगाते हैं और दूसरी आंख को स्टिमुलेट करते हैं, और आफ्टर 7-8 years इसका इफेक्टिवनेस बहुत पुअर हो जाता है. सो शुरू के 5-6 साल में ये अगर पकड़ी जाती है, इट कैन बी करेक्टेड. नाउ टीचर्स play a very important role because teachers are respected both by students and parents. So जो भी टीचर कहता है वो बच्चा जरूर फॉलो करता है. And so teachers are a very important medium जिनके थ्रू आप आई हेल्थ अवेयरनेस फैला भी सकते हैं, नॉट जस्ट फॉर द चाइल्ड, इवन फॉर देयर फैमिलीज एंड कम्युनिटीज. जैसे हमने देखा है ये दिवाली टाइम पे फायर क्रैकर्स, आई थिंक इट वाज अ ब्रिलियंट स्ट्रोक ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट एंड स्कूल्स टू एजुकेट चिल्ड्रन कि आजकल हमारी जनरेशन वाले लोगों को तब भी आदत है पटाखे जलाने की, उसके बिना लगता है दिवाली नहीं हुई. बट जो बच्चे हैं वो आजकल वही मना कर देते हैं कि नहीं, वी शुड नॉट डू इट, विच इज वेरी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम आवर जनरेशन, जहाँ पे हम लोग पटाखे चलाते थे, हमारे पेरेंट्स मना करते थे. और आजकल उल्टा हो गया है क्योंकि बच्चों में इतनी ज्यादा अवेयरनेस हो गई है अगेंस्ट क्रैकर्स कि टीचर्स are able to influence children and they start believing in it. Teachers can also do vision check. आप लोगों ने कई बार किसी ने चश्मे की जांच कराई है तो वर्ड्स, ये लेटर्स लिखे होते हैं 6/60, 6/36, 6/24, 6/6. ये विजन के असेसमेंट्स होते हैं. Now, इसमें कुछ खास नहीं होता. एक 6 मीटर के डिस्टेंस पे एक स्नेलन चार्ट होती है जिसमें ये नंबर्स या अल्फाबेट्स लिखे होते हैं, और वो एक 6 मीटर्स के डिस्टेंस पे बैठ के पढ़ना होता है. अगर आपने सारी लाइंस पढ़ ली नीचे तक तो आपकी विजन है 6/6. अगर ऊपर वाली लाइन भी नहीं पढ़ पाए तो वो विजन है 6/60. उसका मतलब 6/6 का मतलब है कि जो 6 मीटर डिस्टेंस पे आपको दिखना चाहिए वो आपको दिख रहा है. 6/60 का है कि नॉर्मल पर्सन वो 60 मीटर्स पे वो देख सकता है लेटर, आपको वो 6 मीटर पे भी नहीं दिख रहा. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड 6/60. सो इसका ये मुश्किल से 10 मिनट में हम किसी भी एजुकेटेड पर्सन कैन लर्न हाउ टू असेस विजन. And it is just a printout of Snellen's chart. चाहे तो it can be taken out very easily. It's not very expensive, easily available. Or teachers can annually check all the children for vision. In fact, अगर सबका पूरे स्कूल का मुश्किल है तो अगर एडमिशन के टाइम and every 2 classes में check होता रहे as the child progresses, I think उतना ही करने में बहुत फर्क हो जाएगा. So teachers can do that. Children can also be taught how the eye looks, कि normal क्या है. So अगर बच्चों को हम सिखाएं कि normal आँख कैसे लगती है तो वो घर जाके अपने ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स की भी आईज चेक करेंगे. एंड अगर उन्हें मोतियाबिंद या कुछ दिखेगा तो वो कहेंगे कुछ गड़बड़ है, या वो कहेंगे इन्हें साफ नहीं दिख रहा. एंड दे विल पुट दैट प्रेशर ऑन द फैमिली कि ओके, द ग्रैंडफादर और ग्रैंडमदर को डॉक्टर के पास ले जाने की जरूरत है. क्योंकि कई बार मोतियाबिंद इन ओल्ड एज इज अगेन सच अ स्लो प्रोसेस एंड ओल्ड पीपल के लिए किसी के पास पेशेंस नहीं होती, कौन लेके जाए, बट बच्चे ये काम कर सकते हैं, सो दे कैन बी कैटलिस्ट फॉर दैट चेंज। तो अगर आप बच्चों में कैसे समझ आता है कि कुछ प्रॉब्लम है, सो अगर उन्हें कुछ भंगापन हो रहा है, अगर आप देखें कि उनकी आंख अंदर या बाहर जा रही है, उसका मतलब ये हो सकता है कि उस आंख से इन्हें दिख नहीं रहा है। सो किसी में आप भंगापन चेक देखें तो उन्हें जल्दी ही डॉक्टर के पास जाना चाहिए। कई बार बस चश्मे के लगाने से वो भंगापन भी हट जाता है, बट वही शुरू के 5-6 साल में ये काम होना जरूरी है। अगर पढ़ते पढ़ते दे लूज कंसंट्रेशन, तो भी इट कुड बी अ साइन आइदर कुछ चश्मे का नंबर है या मसल इम्बैलेंस है। कोई बच्चे अगर बहुत आंख खुजा रहे होते हैं, बच्चों में कई बार एलर्जीज होती है एंड उन एलर्जीज के लिए ट्रीटमेंट अवेलेबल होता है। इट कुड ऑल्सो बी अ साइन व्हेन दे स्क्वीज देयर आईज, अगर ऐसे छोटी करके देख रहे हैं या टीवी को बहुत पास जाके देख रहे हैं, ये सब इंडिकेशंस हैं कि उन्हें कम दिख रहा है। कभी कभी ये टिल्ट करके देखते हैं सर, वो भी मसल्स की इम्बैलेंस का प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है। एंड अगर कोई बच्चा स्कूल में बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म नहीं कर रहा, इट इज पॉसिबल कि उसे ठीक नहीं दिख रहा। सो ऑल दीज साइंस वन कैन लुक आउट फॉर, which could be problems, and a lot of these came up in your study. I mean, they were relevant questions which can cause vision problems. Nutrition, of course, हमें मालूम है कि विटामिन A is very important. उससे भी important मैं कहूँगा immunization. Typical nutrition problem होती है measles या किसी उस type का infection जो कि preventable है. And if all children should get immunized, and India has a very good immunization program. So I think schools में teachers, जैसे आजकल कोविड का हम लोग सब चेक करते हैं कि आपको वैक्सीन लगा कि नहीं, वैसे ही I think schools में होना चाहिए कि teachers should check whether children have all the vaccines immunization happened or not. क्योंकि मीजल्स खसरा होने से अक्सर डायरिया होता है और डायरिया से ही मेल न्यूट्रिशन होता है। ऑफ कोर्स न्यूट्रिशन इज इंपॉर्टेंट, अभी जैसे बताया था ग्रीन लीफी वेजिटेबल्स, कैरेट्स, गाजर, येलो फूड्स जो होते हैं, पीले रंग के खाद्य पदार्थ, वो इंपॉर्टेंट है कि इन्हें ठीक से न्यूट्रिशन मिले। अर्बन एरिया में द अदर न्यू पैंडेमिक जो आया है वो है ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन एंड ऑनलाइन गेमिंग एंड ऑनलाइन एंटरटेनमेंट। आजकल जो बच्चे हैं वो स्क्रीन को छोड़ते ही नहीं है। इनफैक्ट हमें कई बार लगता है कि वो अपने दोस्तों से नहीं मिल रहे, बच्चे काफी खुश हो गए अपने फोन के साथ बैठने में। Now, if you're indoors most of the times and you're doing only near work, आप अगर नजदीक का ही काम कर रहे हैं और घर के अंदर रहते हैं, many studies have shown आप मायोपिक बन जाते हैं। मायोपिया मतलब आपकी आंख जो है वो नजदीक के काम के लिए अडेप्ट हो जाती है, आपको दूर का साफ नहीं दिखता और आपको फिर माइनस का चश्मा पहनने की जरूरत है। चाइना, ताइवान, कोरिया, उस एरिया में एक जनरेशन से दूसरे जनरेशन में 30% से 90% मायोपिया हो गया। पैंडेमिक के बाद से हम इंडिया में भी सडनली देख रहे हैं अर्बन एरिया में लोग, बच्चों का चश्मे का नंबर एकदम से बढ़ने लगा है क्योंकि बच्चे अब बाहर खेल नहीं रहे। सनलाइट एंड आउटडोर रहना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है फॉर विजन टू डेवलप प्रॉपर्ली। सो बच्चों को इनकरेज करना चाहिए कि वो बाहर खेलें, दे स्पेंड टाइम आउटसाइड एंड अगर ऑनलाइन काम भी करें तो बीच बीच में थोड़े ब्रेक्स, every 20 minutes there should be a short break, and then they get back. So teachers have a lot of influence. सारे teachers सब लोग उन्हें trust करते हैं. They are the knowledge leaders, and they can change the societies and communities. And eye health के लिए teachers can play a very big role as the primary screeners, identifying the problem, educating children, and in turn the children making a difference to their families and their societies. So teachers can be a catalyst for this whole change towards eye care and the importance of eye care. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mathur. आपने बहुत important pointers हमारे साथ share करे हैं. And thank you so much for reiterating the importance of early intervention और teachers के माध्यम से हम कैसे इस process को और strengthen कर सकते हैं. And especially the process of the 6x60 eye test method. I think it's a very fairly simple procedure and can go a long way in doing the early detection. Thank you.
In fact, we are using an app. There's a phone pay. There's an app. I'll just share it on the chat box. It is a freely downloadable app. just Android phones पे download कर सकते हैं, जिससे कोई भी vision test कर सकता है. उसमें tutorial भी है. And we've tested it in the fields. It's very accurate and can be used as a good screening tool. So I'll just share it in the chat box.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Mathur. That'll be extremely beneficial. Thank you so much. Audience, we are now ready to start our panel discussion after this absolutely wonderful keynote speech by Dr. Mathur. So for that, let me welcome my colleague and the moderator for this panel, Ms. Prachi Gaur.
Thank you, Ruksha. We have assembled a vibrant and an eminent group of individuals for today's discussion on the topic, evolving role of teachers in the eye health at school. I would like to start by introducing our eminent panelists to all. Our first panelist is Dr. Rishi Raj Bora. Dr. Rishi is the country director Orbis. He heads programs in India, Indonesia, and Nepal. Over the years, he developed innovative and sustainable homegrown eye care initiatives for communities across India and Nepal. Welcome, Dr. Rishi. Our second panelist, Ms. Preeti Monga, is the founder and CEO at Silver Lining, not-for-profit organization. Preeti is an Indian National Awardee, social worker, disability activist, motivational speaker, and author. Preeti has been working towards improving living condition for the visually impaired since last couple of decades. Welcome, Preeti. Our third panelist is Dr. Amruta Tripathi. Amruta is consultant ophthalmologist in Mumbai. Her areas of interest are cataract extraction surgeries, pediatric ophthalmology, and squint. She has written many research papers, particularly in last couple of months. Her research has been on online teaching and its impact on children's eyes. Welcome, Dr. Amruta. Our final panelist is Ms. Lalita Maurya. Lalita is the leader of Hindi group of mentor teachers for North Delhi Municipal Corporation schools. Lalita has extensive experience of 12 years working with students, has great understanding of children's challenges. Welcome, Lalita. So I'll be starting with the questions. And my first question is for Dr. Rishi. Dr. Rishi, you has launched many sustainable eye care initiatives. Do you want to highlight some of the initiatives, especially in preventing childhood blindness and refractive error for children?
Thank you, Prachi. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Dr. Rishi.
I would like to thank Tech Mahindra and the entire team for this great initiative and then research that you have just launched. I think there are many of the things I think new to the domain. So I think probably all of us, we will be able to use this information in our programs in future. And then thank you, Dr. Umang. I think about childhood blindness and the school eye health and then importance of teacher, he has explained very meticulously and nicely that know how things can be implemented and benefit for the kids. I think thank you so much. And he has actually set the context that know what we do in India. Dr. Shroff is the partner of Orbis for last 20 years, and then we work for Children's Eye Care, and the last 20 years we have been working for Children's Eye Care in India. And then Shroff is the first Children's Eye Care Center that we have established in India. So currently, in last 20 years, we have been establishing 33 Children's Eye Care Center across 17 states. And basically, as you rightly pointed out, that this is around childhood eye health and then child eye care. So that is one of the focus area for last 20 years for Orbis. When you talk about this important program, and it is today we are talking about school children and then teachers' involvement in school eye health. So we recently, although we have been doing it for last 20 years, but we have conceptualized a program in 2016 called REACH. REACH is REACH meaning refractive error among children. So that is basically for school children. We have formulated the program, and in 15 districts of India through 11 partner hospital, we implemented this program in 22,000 schools in 3 years and reach out to 5 million kids in 3 years. So and then this time we wanted to have the entire database in place so that at least out of the analysis and things like that, we will know that how best the school eye health program can be designed in future and to give maximum benefits for the kids. So I'd like to explain a little bit around the program so that it is going to be how actually teachers also got involved in the program, and then how we made sure that both the things are so important when you deliver school eye health care. So in REACH program, basically, if you look at that till now, what we have done till 2016, it is more of like delivery oriented programs. Like the moment the spectacle is delivered, your programs almost get over. Means like this is because that's how we designed the program. And over a period of time, one realization was that we gave so many spectacles to so many kids, whether they're wearing it or not, which is a big question that we have asked. And then I think probably many of the work that we had done, the answer was not very clear. That because it was not within the program design. We don't go back to the children and see that whether they're wearing spectacles or not. So with the REACH program, one of the main objective is after delivery, to improve the outcome of this intervention for child's life, what exactly needs to be done? That is what all about the REACH program. And we deliver the spectacle mandatorily within 3 weeks, or within 3 months. We go back to the school and then see whether child is wearing spectacle or not. It is like child's spectacle on face. Sometimes what happens, everything is done, very quality refraction is done, good quality spectacles given. But if you look at it, there is a little bit of loosening of the frames actually prevent the child to wear the spectacle. Yes, automatic comes down and things like that. Those fittings also, there's a minor thing. It has nothing to do with anything around service delivery, but it's more of a kind of this minor adjustment that is needed on the frame prevents the child to wear the spectacle. I'm just giving that little example. So there are many examples like that. Many of the programs, there is the other little example I'd like to give about the choice of the spectacle. And then choice of the spectacle for most of the school eye health program lies on the provider. So we choose the frame for the child. We don't give the right to the child to choose their own spectacle. Now, I may not like that particular color, but there is no option. It was given to me. So it is not only that kind of spectacles that that we are talking about, but sometimes if you wear the spectacle, whether you enable that particular environment for the child to consult with the best friend. That no, am I looking good? So something like these are all very minor things which we never considered earlier. We considered in this REACH program so that we can improve compliance. The teacher, earlier we used to, I mean, this is also good, and then many of the national programs for school health, teacher has been the key point that no, as Dr. Mathur also mentioned that no, they're important to screen kids at an early stage or identify kids at an early age so that that intervention can be done. During this REACH program, we also involved them in school screening. But during this screening, one thing we make sure that now, since we are outcome-driven objective of this particular project, let's try to look at that now how teacher can make sure that the child is wearing spectacle. Just given an example that now we all do in the morning class, the class teacher used to do the roll calls. So in some places we are putting a kind of spectacle register, little, not much. Means in a class there are 2, 3, 4, 5 kids are going to be there. Just to look at that now whether all five children wearing daily spectacles or not. That is important because our program, with 3 months we go back to the child and then see whether they are wearing spectacle or not, which is not a good way to looking at compliance. So if teacher is there and then teacher knows that know how to monitor, and then in the class they can look at definitely if someone is not wearing spectacle, immediate intervention can be provided. Why you are not wearing? So, oh, my spectacle is broken. At least you can inform people that no, the spectacle is needed. Or there are the couple of places got out that no, parents didn't like the shape of the spectacle or something. And then that's why the child not wearing spectacle. So there are many of the things we can get out when we involve teachers. There are many ways the teachers can be involved in the outcome of what intervention we have, because we do the intervention one day. The outcome is depend on how continuously we monitor the child. So I think without teacher, this is even if we would like to improve children's vision through a pair of spectacle, that is not going to happen unless teachers are integral part of this outcome-driven delivery system. So that's what we do through this REACH program. And then during the discussion, I'll happy to input whatever from our side we can do.
Thank you, Dr. Rishi. And I think I'm gathering some very valuable points that it's not only about, providing services, but it's also about, constant vigilance, monitoring of the same. And that's where probably teachers can come in to have, small things like checking whether the students are in the frame. I think that's a very small thing, but that's when the accountability, the interest from students can also come in. And there will be much more progressive development henceforth. Thank you. My next question is for Dr. Amruta. She has extensive years of working with young children. So Dr. Amruta, what kind of diseases have you seen in children? And are they preventable? Also, if you can throw some lights about what you've done in online teaching research paper, some handy tips for teachers here in the audience.
Okay, so as regards the pediatric ocular problems, they can be as minor as a conjunctivitis or a minor scratch in the eye up to even ocular tumors. So basically covering all of that is a little difficult, but what the teacher can do, teacher can know the red flags, like what are some specific things. If I note in the child, then she can immediately tell the parent to get an eye checkup done. For example, if you have a cloudy eye, or you get an abnormal white reflex in the eye, which we call as leukocoria. It means there's something, either cataract or tumor or something that has to be looked at. Or if the child is crossing his eyes, if he is rubbing his eyes, if one eye is smaller than the other eye, or if the child is not getting involved in outdoor sports that require him to look at a distance. All these pointers the teacher can pick up. Then what was the second half of the question?
So, Dr. Amruta, you can also throw some lights about the online teaching.
So online, as we are seeing since the past 2 years, teaching has been only online. Now, in some surveys that were done, it was found that whenever the online or the screen time exceeded 4 hours or 5 hours, more than 50% of the students had symptoms of digital eye strain. So to prevent that, basically taking breaks is the first point. So after a 30-minute class, give a 5 or 10 minutes break. Tell the child to move away from the screen. He should take a go outside, look outside the window, go and drink some water, do some jumping, and then come back. You can do that. Then secondly, if you have to note if the child is very lethargic, if he's rubbing his eyes, if he's peering into the screen, all these things can be noted by the teacher. Thirdly, one more thing I feel, teachers, or while even formulating the academic schedule, you should stress more on paper pencil time. By that, what I mean is online, you have a lot of online assignments and assessments which are to be solved on Google Forms and all. Instead of that, you can tell them to write down in your notebook, then you click a photograph and then you send it. That is one thing they can do. Secondly, you have every 3 months, you have open house when the teacher has one-on-one interaction with the parent of the child. You can directly ask the parent how much time this child is spending on screen after school is over. Because what is seen, the parents are busy and the child is on his phone, either he is video gaming or he is on social media. So that has to be cut off. So that is one way. And yeah, that is it.
Thank you, Dr. Amrita. I think some very handy tips about, especially for teachers, how to monitor the screen time also, and for parents also that can work together. My next question is for Lalita, who's the only teacher in the panel. Lalita, Dr. Rishi and Dr. Amrita both have talked a lot about teachers' importance and role. So do you want to talk about, as a teacher, what have been your experience and any anecdotes where the eye health of students have come into forefront?
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Prachi. मैम एज अ टीचर आज मैं नॉर्थ दिल्ली एमसीडी को रिप्रेजेंट कर रही हूँ, तो मैं बताना चाहूंगी कि सब लोग आज टीचर्स के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं कि आई हेल्थ के लिए टीचर्स का जो रोल है वो बहुत बड़ा है, एंड आई एम टोटली एग्री विद दैट, क्योंकि बच्चे जहां तक है वो सबसे ज्यादा टाइम अपने टीचर्स के साथ स्पेंड करते हैं, और वो लोग उनके पेरेंट्स से ज्यादा अवेयर होते हैं इस तरह की डिजीजेस के लिए कि हम उनकी किस तरीके से पहचान कर सकते हैं। जब बच्चा स्कूल में होता है तो एक तरीके से हम सिर्फ उसकी हर तरह की एक्टिविटीज को देखते हैं। बच्चे घर में ज्यादातर खेलते हैं, तो पेरेंट्स की नजरों से कई बार निकल जाती है बात कि बच्चे की आई में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है। मैं आपको एक पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस बताना चाहूंगी यहाँ पर कि आई थिंक यहाँ पे आज हमारे जितने भी लोग हम जुड़े हुए हैं उनमें से ज्यादातर टीचर्स हैं। मैंने देखा बहुत सारे टीचर्स भी हैं, तो वो अग्री करेंगे कि कई बार क्या होता है, बच्चे स्कूल में आने के बाद ये शिकायत करते हैं कि मेरी आज आंखों में दर्द हो रहा है या मेरे सर में दर्द हो रहा है। आई थिंक सर में दर्द ज्यादातर स्टूडेंट्स बताते हैं कि सर में दर्द है। तो एज अ टीचर हम लोग क्या करते हैं, हम उन्हें कहते हैं आप हेड डाउन करके सो जाइए, थोड़ा रेस्ट कर लीजिए, खाना खा लीजिए, पानी पी लीजिए, लेकिन हम उस चीज को इस तरह से जज नहीं कर पाते कि हो सकता है बच्चे की आई में कोई प्रॉब्लम हो। तो जो अर्ली इंटरवेंशन की बात हम सब लोग कर रहे हैं पिछले 1 घंटे से, तो वो कहीं ना कहीं है ना, इस बात पे हम लोग चूक जाते हैं कि हम समझ नहीं पाते कि बच्चा भूखे होने की वजह से उसके सर में दर्द हो रहा है, या थकने की वजह से हो रहा है, नींद ना पूरी होने की वजह से हो रहा है, या उसे आई प्रॉब्लम है। तो आई थिंक बहुत जरूरी है सभी टीचर्स के लिए कि उन्हें पता हो बच्चों में आई प्रॉब्लम्स को हम कैसे आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि अगर अर्ली इंटरवेंशन होगा तो हम बहुत सारी बीमारियों को रोक सकते हैं। तो आई थिंक बहुत यूजफुल है टीचर्स के लिए इस तरह की वर्कशॉप्स।
थैंक यू ललिता, बिकॉज आई थिंक वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट आपने हाईलाइट किया कि चाहते हुए भी जब तक अगर ट्रेनिंग ना हो, पता ना हो क्या करना है, तो वहां पर चूक जाती है और वहां पर कुछ इंटरवेंशन की जरूरत हो सकती है। Interestingly, yes, Dr. Amrita, you wanted to share something?
Yeah, I would just like to add, there's a very nice ebook available. It's been published by Orbis only, Vision Screening in Teachers. Yes. It's a very nice, colorful book. If all the teachers can go through that.
Totally. Thank you, Dr. Amrita. And that was one of the resources that, when we'll start our intervention in eye health, that we wanted to circulate with all the teachers. Thank you for highlighting that. And now I would want to come to Preeti, who has a very inspiring story. And especially जो बात हो रही है teachers का role जिंदगी में, तो Preeti, would you like to share your life story with us?
Good afternoon. It has been a wonderful session, and I'm so honored to be here. तो मैं टीचर्स के लिए एक छोटी सी स्टोरी अपनी ही लाइफ में से बताना चाहूंगी कि टीचर नहीं होती मेरी लाइफ में, the teachers were not existing in my life, I wouldn't be where I am. So I salute all the teachers. मैं बचपन से ब्लाइंड हूँ. I've been blind since probably very जब मैं बहुत छोटी थी, around few months old. मेरे पेरेंट्स को, मेरे फैमिली को, किसी को नहीं पता चला. Nobody got to know that I was having an eye problem. I was not totally blind. I could see some things. So holding on to someone, किसी का हाथ पकड़ के या कैसे, I used to get around. But जब तक मैं 6-7 साल की हुई, I of course was going to school और मेरे को बहुत डर लगता था, लेकिन मुझे ऐसा लगता ही नहीं था. मुझे अभी भी याद है, मुझे लगता था कि सब बच्चे भाग रहे हैं तो I should have no chance, no reason, मेरे को डरना क्यों चाहिए. लेकिन क्या पता था मुझे, जैसे डॉक्टर उमंग ने बहुत अच्छा कहा कि द चाइल्ड डजंट नो. फॉर मी दैट वाज माय वर्ल्ड. मेरा दुनिया ही वही थी. मुझे लगा सबको ऐसा दिखता है. पर मेरी टीचर्स ने, ये मैं 1967-68 की बात कर रही हूँ, जब मैं जस्ट छोटी सी थी, क्लास 1 में थी, तो वहां पे मेरी टीचर्स ने मेरे पेरेंट्स को बुलाया. उन्होंने कहा कि ये इंटेलिजेंट तो है, समझदार है, शी इज एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड एवरीथिंग, शी इज आंसरिंग इन क्लास, बट ये काम अच्छा नहीं करती है, हैंड राइटिंग बहुत बुरी है, क्लास वर्क कॉपी नहीं करती है, होमवर्क ठीक से नहीं करती है, तो इसकी आंखों को पहले आप टेस्ट कराएं. और जब मेरे पेरेंट्स ने मेरे को आई डॉक्टर के पास लेके गए, ऑफ्थल्मोलॉजिस्ट के पास लेके गए, तो मेरी विजन प्रैक्टिकली नथिंग, कुछ था ही नहीं. वो 6/60 भी नहीं थी. अगर उस टाइम पे टीचर्स ने पॉइंट आउट नहीं किया होता तो फैमिली मेंबर्स यूज्ड टू जस्ट बी एंग्री विद मी. गुस्सा होते थे कि क्यों नहीं ठीक से करती है, क्या नहीं करती है. लेकिन द मोमेंट दे फाउंड आउट, उन्होंने मेरी अपब्रिंगिंग में मेरे को जैसे वो पाल रहे थे उसमें एकदम से चेंज लेके आए. उन्होंने ये समझा कि मेरे को दिखता नहीं है, और मेरी टीचर्स ने भी समझा, और दोनों ने मिलके उस टाइम मेरे अपब्रिंगिंग में, दैट वाज अर्ली इंटरवेंशन, नॉट फॉर एनी अदर थिंग बट टू मेक माई लाइफ बेटर एंड टू कीप मी वेयर I am today, to bring me where I am today. तो उन्होंने, दोनों ने मिलके मुझे, अगर उस समय पे नहीं अपनी तरीका चेंज किया होता मुझे बड़े करने का और मुझे पढ़ाने का, तो I would not be sitting here and sharing my story. So hats off to the teachers, and thank you very much for this beautiful, wonderful session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Preeti. And I think I totally agree. You know, your story is like the validation कि teachers का role कितना important है.
बहुत ज़्यादा, बहुत.
क्या कर सकते हैं. Thanks a lot.
बहुत.
And due to paucity of time, I would love to, you know, continue the questions, but I would have to
no, hand
it over to Rupsha.
Yes, no, this was a very important sharing I wanted to do, and especially to salute all the teachers here.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Preeti.
Thank you.
Over to you, Rupsha.
Thank you so much, Prachi, and thank you so much, panelists. A lot of important pointers हमें आपसे मिले हैं. So we'll just quickly go through a few questions, and because time is not permitting us to continue this, even though we really want to. So I will quickly direct one or two major questions that we've received. First one, I think I would like to ask Dr. Rishi. You have already had a vast experience, and especially from the global platform as well. So my question to you is that how can awareness programs can be further strengthened, especially when we talk about being aware about posture, diet, healthy lifestyle, and how can we make parents as partners through well-designed programs? So do you have any global good practices or something on those lines that you would like to share with us?
Yep. Thank you, Rupsha, for this very important question. I think probably there are a lot of materials are available, but I think we need to put little effort in how to disseminate and implement them, because you don't have that of material currently. What needs to be the awareness generation material needs to be there, that is already there. Is only thing is that there are many things we do. We don't incorporate them the way it has to be incorporated. In some places we look at, there are a huge amount of information has been given, but I think in such a way it is given that it is very difficult for the recipient to understand that what it is. I think probably that balance, what exactly we would like to communicate for say healthcare messaging or awareness that needs to be put in place. I think that balance need to be looked at before we have awareness program. That is one thumb rule I'm saying, but there's a huge opportunity, because as Dr. Umang also said, in every one of us, we feel that our teachers, if they say something, we tend to listen to them very carefully and then we follow it. And this is in everyone's life is like that. It's like if teachers say something, we are going to do that. It is important that when teachers say something, the parents tend to get understand and then follow it very judiciously. I think the point of insertion for all this awareness, I think if you get involved teachers and parents, it is going to be a good combination for healthcare messaging or healthcare awareness for the entire family. Normally we said that Dr. Umang brought in a very nice point that teach the child to screen, so that when he goes back and screen somebody at home, the child is going to after that person that let's go and then look at that. Have the screening or examination done. From our side, I think there are very simple messages like annual eye examination for kids is important. This simple message can resolve many issues. Like in some places we have school programs, some may not have school program, but this message if reach out through teachers that annual examination is important, and that can be communicated to the parents wherever, whatever facilities are there, they're going to make sure that the annual examination done, and then through that lot more cases can be identified early for intervention. I think that way simple message, I think insertion points would be, it should not be an overwhelming awareness putting into the same channel. I think finding out the channel, amount of information that we would like to do, and then we should know that by sending this particular information, what we are looking at, what changes that we are looking at in behavioral pattern and things like that for kids and then the community. So that's what I can say. I do not have a ready-made best practice for this, but I think that's what we do wherever there is a need, and how that need is going to be penned down. Based on that, we devise strategy.
Absolutely.
Over a period of time, one only thing we learned that if the simple message reach out to many people and then they tend to follow it. The complicated message probably it requires people to make people understand. That's where everything gets little delayed, or the destination it doesn't found. So that's what I can say, Rupsha. And our school screening book, I'll share with you so that they can share with the teachers. And thank you, Dr. Amruta, to pointing out this. And we'll definitely share with all of you that teachers and the teachers training handbook.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor. We have one more question, and I think I would like to ask this to Dr. Amruta. So Dr. Amruta, there are a lot of myths that get associated with eye health. And even through our research, we understood that there are some misconceptions. There is also there is a common understanding that eyesight test is not recommended by doctors below the age of 5. So can you please shed some light about what are these different common misconceptions, and please just add more to this?
Yeah, so as regarding eye test screening, actually it is advisable that between the age of 3 to 5 years, each and every child should undergo an eye screening. And I feel as we are having online education right now, each and every child should get screened every year just before school entry. At least the vision part, at least go to an optometrist and get your vision checked. So if there's any problem, you can go to the specialist. As regards the myths, there are some which are very damaging, some which are very fine. So one I get very commonly from parents is that, "Acha, gajar khane ko bola hai to number to chala jayega na." So no, it's not that. You are just providing him good nutrition for healthy eyes and healthy retina. Secondly, there's one more myth that wearing eyeglasses will make the person dependent on eyeglasses. So eyeglasses are like crutches. That is what is being propagated, which is very wrong, because eyeglasses only will make you see things clearly. And if a child is deprived eyeglasses, you try giving him glasses after 2 years, he won't be able to see properly because of something called as amblyopia, or functionally the eye becomes weak because it was not provided proper vision stimulation at the right time. So that is very important. There's one more myth, that doing eye exercises will help us to get rid of the spectacle number, which is also being very wrongly propagated by non-medical professionals. So that is not, it's helpful in certain conditions like convergence insufficiency and all, but it won't make the number go away. And there's one more thing, that if a child looks cross-eyed temporarily, then he will permanently, the eyes will stay that way. So that is also not the case.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amrita. I hope this information is very helpful for our audience today, because it does debunk a lot of the myths that have somehow perpetuated in the community, and will definitely be more helpful in early intervention and management and prevention. And one more question I think I would like to ask Ms. Preeti Monga. It is going to be the World Sight Day on the 14th of October. So we would love to hear from you that what is your message to the audience and to everyone on this very important occasion?
My message is just simple. I go with the theme, love your eyes. However, I would also like to say that जब हमें दिखाई देता है, जब सब लोगों को दिखाई देता है, we don't care about our eyes. वो जो आंखें हमारी देखती हैं, we don't care about them. और we just think it's automatic. But believe you me, आप लोग मेरी बात मानिए, ये ऑटोमेटिक नहीं है. बचपन से लेके बड़े होने तक और till you're old, please take care of your eyes, because बिना eyesight के जीना मेरे लिए शब्द नहीं है आपको बताने के लिए कि कितना मुश्किल है. So अपनी आंखों का ध्यान रखें, और हमारे डॉक्टर फ्रेंड्स यही हैं, उनसे जो कुछ आपने सुना है वो अपने बच्चों तक पहुंचाएं, उनकी फैमिलीज तक पहुंचाएं. तो this is the message.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Preeti. And thank you so much, audience. There's an enthusiastic participation. We have so many important people who can definitely help us in this venture and in helping increase our awareness. We still have a lot of questions pouring in, but in the interest of time, I would request all of you that you can post your questions in the chat. And if you're unable to respond to any of your questions, you may also email us. The email is events@techmahindrafoundation.org. One of my team members will post this on the chat box as well. So you can certainly send your questions there, and we will definitely try to get back to you as soon as possible. And thank you so much, panelists. And thank you so much, Dr. Umang. It's wonderful that you are with us till the very end. You all have shared extremely important insights, and we have drawn some very important pointers. It's been a fascinating journey to hear from all of you, and especially about the challenges related to eye health of children and what is possible to bring the teachers on board as frontline defense to detect and alert any of the telltale signs of eye problems among children, and how to also disseminate this knowledge in the entire community for timely intervention and management. We hope this conversation has helped to inform school authorities as well as policymakers to put in place a system to mainstream all teacher trainings, to build institutional capacities in schools as well. And this initiative requires the medical community too, as major and important partners, to bring science and evidence to promote good practices. I hope all of you have enjoyed this conversation as much as we have. Please do not hesitate to send your questions. Definitely looking forward to it. Now I would like to invite my colleague Archana to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Rupsha. On behalf of Tech Mahindra Foundation, I would like to thank you all for attending this event, Sanchi Samaj 5, on evolving role of teachers in eye health at schools. I hope it has been able to provide some beneficial information about eye health issues with students and how they can eventually be minimized in our society with the help of teachers and the community as a whole. I would like to extend our sincere thanks and gratitude to our guest of honor, Mr. Umang Mathur, for sparing his time for this event and providing us his valuable advice on eye health issues of children and how to prevent them. I would like to thank panelists, Dr. Rishi Rajbora, Dr. Amrita Tripathi, Ms. Preeti Munga, and Ms. Lalita Maurya for taking their time to be a part of the panel discussion on evolving role of teachers in eye health at school. We certainly have several takeaways and productive insights about how teachers can play an effective role in helping students prevent eye health issues. I would like to thank the CEO of Tech Mahindra Foundation, Mr. Chetan Kapoor, for providing his valuable insights on eye health of students and also for providing us an influential online platform of Sanji Samaj. I would like to thank our head DIP, Mr. Sajid, for encouraging us to accomplish the research and share the findings through this discussion. Finally, I would like to thank the entire event organizing team to help us conduct a smooth and successful discussion. Hoping all to have a great day. Thank you.